What's up, football fans? Welcome into NFL Daily here by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Thanks for clicking into the video. And if you did, you might have noticed we have a doozy for you today. Field Yates, a NFL draft analyst for ESPN, just released his second mock draft, the first full 2 rounds for every single team. And we're going to react to it right here at Chat Sports. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for us. If you want the latest from ESPN's mock draft, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Let's dive right into it. All right, so like I said, Mr. Field Yates dropped Mock Draft 2.0, and in the interest of saving time, we don't want you to be here for 45 to 50 minutes. We're not going to spend as much time on each pick and evaluating it, more so kind of reacting to where he has each player going. So let's just start it off right now with number 1. Cam Ward goes to Tennessee. He starts their new franchise, not new franchise, but a new era in their franchise after the Will Levis experiment completely crashed and burned. Coming in at number 2, Abdul from Penn State. Probably the best pure talent other than Travis Hunter in this draft. I would love to see Abdul and Myles Garrett teaming up on the opposite sides of each other. Coming in at number 3, this one kind of surprised me a little bit. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback from Colorado. The Giants just signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, so I don't necessarily know that I agree with this pick, but nonetheless, Yates has Sanders going to the Giants. Coming in at number 4, this is probably pretty obvious, Travis Hunter to the New England Patriots. Now, he's one of the most athletic players I think I've ever seen. He's probably going to play a little more wide receiver, in my opinion, than he will corner, but he can play on both sides of the ball. At number 5, Mr. Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, big-bodied player, has unbelievable strength on the defensive line. He's a certified number 5 overall pick in this case, but he's a certified first-round talent. He will be an immediate fix to that Jacksonville defensive line. Then Ashton Jeanty, the running back out of Boise State. And a lot of people have been talking about Ashton Jeanty as some generational talent. I don't want to go that far because generational to me is like Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson. The stereotypical Hall of Fame running backs are the generational talents. Now, with that being said, Jeanty is probably the best back prospect we've seen since Saquon Barkley, and I think we all know the kind of year that he had last year. So I'm really excited to see what Ashton Jeanty can do in the NFL, and if he goes to the Raiders, it would be a very, very cool place, especially with Raider Nation rocking out for Mr. Ashton Jeanty. At number 7, Armand Membou, who's been rocketing up draft boards. The Jets just signed Justin Fields. They've got a brand new quarterback under center, so having someone that can protect Justin Fields, like Armand Membou, who's an incredibly athletic tackle, is something that it seems to be all analysts are very, very fond of. At number 8, Jalon Walker. This kind of seems to be the most uniform pick. I've seen Jalon Walker go to the Panthers like six or 7 times out of the last 6 or 7 drafts that I've seen. So Jalon Walker coming in at number 8, they could use an edge, and again, he's going to be a 6 or 7 sacks straight out, of the draft year 1. Shemar Stewart, number 9, to the Saints. Now, Shemar Stewart, I got to tell you, when it comes to defensive end and edge prospects, I've been high on Stewart, and then I've kind of been low on Stewart, so I don't know that I would like him at number 9. He seems more like a middle-of-the-pack sort of player, but the Saints need all the help they can get on defense. So Shemar Stewart coming in at number 9 seems like an okay pick for the Saints. At number 10, Will Campbell for the Chicago Bears, who just made some serious moves in free agency attacking their offensive line. So why not attack that left tackle spot with Braxton Jones seeming to be kind of a question mark on that offensive line. So Will Campbell comes in at number 10. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to grade Field Yates' top 10 picks. Give it an A, B, C, D, or F. Remember, these are not my picks. These are Field Yates' picks. Some of these I agree with, others I don't. So give him a grade A, B, C, D, or F in the comment section below. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go 2 by 2 from now until the end of round 1. Walter Nolan and Tet McMillan coming in at 11 and 12, respectively. Walter Nolan to the Niners. Interesting enough, Walter Nolan, like just 2 weeks ago, was actually predicted to be a late first-round pick. So now at number 11, the Niners must see something in him that he is just like blowing them away. He's one of the pure only nose tackles in this draft, and I think he's going to have a great NFL career. So if he goes to the Niners, look out. Ted McMillan on the opposite end of CeeDee Lamb. Who says no? Dallas could use all the help they can get with weapons, considering they just spent $60 million for Dak Prescott. Will Johnson and Tyler Warren coming in at 13 and 14. Will Johnson to the Dolphins. They need someone on the opposite end of Jalen Ramsey as their cornerback too. And Tyler Warren, can you name the last great Colts tight end? It was Dallas Clark, and that's literally it. So they could use a tight end, and Tyler Warren seems like the perfect fit there. At 15 and 16, Mike Green and Calvin Banks Jr. Now, I got to tell you, Mike Green is my favorite player in this draft. If there was one guy that you could talk about making video game-like numbers, it's Mike Green. I mean, the dude, I realize he played at Marshall, so the level of competition is not necessarily at the highest level, but just take a look at these numbers. Like, come on, man. 23 tackles for loss, 17 sacks, 59 pressures. Essentially, what you're telling me is that every play, this dude was in the backfield making something happen. So I will love to see where Mike Green ends up, and I'm going to be watching his career unfold pretty much since from day one, and I hope he goes to Atlanta because that would be an excellent spot for him. All right, coming in at 17 and 18, Mr. Gray Zabel and Matthew Golden. Gray Zabel, the offensive lineman from North Dakota State, who's one of the most versatile in this draft, can kind of play anywhere. He's more of a plug-and-play offensive lineman. Wherever he's going to go, he's going to be a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. Matthew Golden, who has been shooting up farther and farther up draft boards as the number one wide receiver in this draft, higher than Ted McMillan, in my opinion, although Yates does not have him that high. So Matthew Golden to the Seahawks to pair with Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigba would be a nice three-headed monster in Seattle. Malachi Starks and Amarian Hampton at 19 and 20. Denver desperately needs a running back, and with Ashton Jeanty gone, the next best option is Amarian Hampton. I would love to see him in a Broncos uni. And Malachi Starks, a great safety out of the gates, day one. He's going to be a certified starter in this league for the next 8 to 10 years, so great pick there by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. Here's where it starts to get a little weird. Jackson Dart coming in for the Steelers. I heard from one of our analysts here at Chat Sports that Jackson Dart was Kenny Pickett 2.0. Now, I wouldn't go that far, but he definitely does need everything in the offense to kind of go his way in order for things to be successful, and I think that's a little bit of a red flag. Now, with that being said, he's got great measurables. He's 6'2". He's got a good arm. He was accurate in college, had some good production, threw for over 4,000 yards in college is incredible. So there's a lot of things to like about Jackson Dart, and there's a lot of things that, you know, you could be like, I don't know about the next level. So seeing Jackson Dart in a Steelers uniform would look really weird to me. Colson Loveland and Mykel Williams coming in at 22 and 23. Colson Loveland is the second best tight end prospect in this draft outside of Tyler Warren. They could use him, especially in Los Angeles, to get more weapons for Justin Herbert. Mykel Williams in Green Bay, they need pass rushers like I need air to breathe. Lucas Van Ness, biggest bust I've ever seen. And then at number 4, Jahdae Barron to the Minnesota Vikings. I don't necessarily know that he'll fall this far, in my opinion, but if he does, hey, it's a great pick there for the Vikings. Donovan Jackson, the Texans need offensive line help. They traded away Larry Tunsil, so they addressed that with Donovan Jackson, the tackle out of Ohio State. Maxwell Harrison, who I'm very high on, ran a 4.29 at the Combine. He goes to the Rams in this. And then James Pierce Jr. and Derek Harmon at 27 and 28. James Pierce Jr., one of the more talented edges, has some off-the-field issues, so that's why he slides in this one. Nick Eamon-Wari coming in at number 29 for the Washington Commanders. Another really solid safety. Can actually play a hybrid of linebacker and safety with how big he is, so I really like that pick for the Washington Commanders. And then, got our first trade alert. So Field Yates has this as the first trade. The Bills trading with the New England Patriots. The Bills get pick 38 and pick 77 in this year's draft, and the Patriots receive pick 30 and then pick 109. So who do the Patriots pick? Offensive tackle Josh Connerly Jr. out of Oregon, another really high tackle. Didn't allow a single sack his senior year. Really like where he's at. And then there's another trade coming up, and we'll get to it here in just a second. Don't worry about it. But Luther Burden coming in for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't the Chiefs have that pick? Well, there's another trade. Field Yates says, hey, interdivisional trades are just kind of my thing. So Luther Burden goes to the Las Vegas Raiders, and here's what the trade looks like. The Raiders receive that first-round pick from the Chiefs, and they get a third-round pick, number 95, and the Chiefs move down to 37 and pick 68. I don't see this happening, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. However, this is what Field Yates has. All right, before we get into our second round, we should note that today's video is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the premier destination to get real money sports action. Here is all you have to do. Make sure you download the Prize Picks app, and when you do, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. It really is that simple. Join 10 million members and counting by signing up today. Springtime is here and baseball season is officially underway. Do not miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash, like I said, today. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports, combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball, hockey, esports, and so much more. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get up to $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app. It's the black box with the purple P. Use code CLNS to get up to $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup with Prize Picks. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, so like I said, now round two, and we're going to go a little bit faster on these because, truth be told, day two picks, you're looking at, kind of like guys that are not as talented as the round one picks, but you can still get some really good value out of. So again, in the interest of saving time, we'll go in groups of 4 for this one. So let's do it. Coming in at 33 through 36, here's what it looks like. Cleveland, Buffalo, we'll get to that in just a second. Tennessee and Jacksonville. So Cleveland takes Tyler Shug, the quarterback out of Louisville. And Shug is one of those players that a lot of people have a ton of question marks around. I don't think he should be ranked this high, so I don't necessarily know what Yates sees in him. And then Kenneth Grant coming in at number 34, and this is what I wanted to talk about. Didn't the Bills just trade down to pick 38? Surprise, surprise. Field Yates comes in and says, hey, they moved down to 38, but now they want to move back up to 34. This is so ridiculous. I hate this, but this is what he has, so we're going to react to it. The Bills get pick 34 to get Kenneth Grant, and the Giants receive pick number 38 and 132. All right, then Donovan Ezaraku from the Boston College University going to the Tennessee Titans. He's a pretty good edge, will be a decent player. Trey Amos going to the Jaguars, and they seem to be attacking defense like nobody's business. Then coming in 37 through 40, Josh Simmons going to the Chiefs offensive line. They need that after they got rid of Joe Thuney. Tyler Booker, again, the Giants need to clear up all of that offensive line issues, and they're going to be rebuilding. Emeka Egbuka going to the Bears to be that third option after Keenan Allen looking like he's most likely not going to return. And then Jaden Higgins, the big-bodied wide receiver out of Iowa State, going to New Orleans. Love his route running capability and his pure size to dominate corners on the opposite positions. I'm very high on Jaden Higgins going to the New Orleans Saints. Quinshon Judkins back to the Bears here at 41, and they're addressing a bunch of issues. So now they've attacked offensive line. Now they're getting a running back. They added another weapon. The Bears under Ben Johnson are looking pretty scary. Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU, going to the Jets. They, again, could use all the weapons they have after losing Devontae Adams. Irisante Ursary, the offensive tackle out of Minnesota. A lot of draft analysts are super high on him, going to San Francisco. And then Trayvon Henderson is going to the Cowboys. And I think we can all agree, after losing Rico Dowdle and your number one back in that room right now being Javonte Williams, That's a pretty decent pick there for the Cowboys. Now, if you love NFL draft coverage, make sure you hit that thumbs up. We're trying to get to 300 likes on today's video for Mr. Field Yates, so do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and make sure you lock us in for all of the best draft coverage surrounding Chat Sports and other places like ESPN. 45 through 48 looks like this. Carson Schweisinger, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, from UCLA. This is like the first true linebacker that I am seeing. He's like a middle of the field linebacker. I love Schweisinger's game. I think he's an excellent player. He's a blanket over the middle of the field, and going to a place like Indianapolis where they have had a lot of success in recent years with their linebackers would be an excellent fit for him. Darius Alexander, Nick Scorton, and Jonah Savayanea. I cannot pronounce that name. It's very, very difficult for me. They all end with the Falcons, the Cardinals, and I believe that is the Jaguars, if I'm correct in that one. Who's that? Dolphins. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Thank you, Mr. It's tough to see because you can't see any of the logos in the back there. But that's where that ends up. I like Nick Scorton a lot. I think he's going to be an excellent addition to whatever team he falls to. And in this case, it's the Cardinals. 49 through 52, Ezra Thomas going to Cincinnati. They could use all of the defensive help they can get. And he is a very, very solid corner out of Florida State. One of the only bright spots of that team last year. And then Savon Revel Jr. It's not Siobhan, it's Savon Revel Jr., the cornerback out of ECU, one of the most athletic corners in this draft, but only played in 3 games last year, so probably not going to be a first-round pick only because there wasn't a lot of film on him last season. Elijah Arroyo, tight end, going to Denver after they signed Evan Ingram. It's a nice little pick to kind of develop that player. Jared Wilson going to the Seahawks. He's an offensive lineman from Georgia, pretty good tackle. Then Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. Very high on Ben Morrison. Here's what I'll say about him. Morrison is one of those players where if he didn't get hurt, he'd be in the first round, kind of like Savon Revel. But because he injured his hip, it's kind of limiting his mobility, and a lot of teams are very hesitant, especially at the cornerback position, to get him in the first round. So Ben Morrison going to the Bucs at number 53. Jack Betch, Elika Maynor going to the Chargers from Stanford. And then JT obviously going to the Bills to get another edge to pair alongside Joey Bosa and AJ Epinesa. Whoo! If you made it this far, we only have a couple of picks left. Type real one in the comment section below. These huge mock drafts are tough to do, man. I'll tell you what, you have to know ball like crazy. So make sure you type real one if you know ball and you've made it this far in the video. All right, 57 through 60. Jalen Noel, one of those players, again, super high on. Love him going to the Carolina Panthers. And then Kyle Williams, it should be noted that he's been climbing up boards too. In fact, some of them, Phil Simms, has him ranked as high as 2 on their board for wide receivers. I don't have him that high, but he has been climbing up boards like crazy. Xavier Watts, the safety out of Notre Dame, another player that I'm electric on. One of those excellent athletic players. He could be one of the best safeties in the NFL in 3 years. Although I don't know why Baltimore selects him because they have Kyle Hamilton. Then Tate Ratledge, guard out of Georgia, going to Detroit at pick 60. And our last 4 picks. Will Howard, quarterback from Ohio State, going to the Saints. I love this pick. And then Landon Jackson, obviously going to the Chiefs. Jacob Parrish going to the Bills. And Alfred Collins wrapping out round 2, going to the Philadelphia Eagles. Little quick thing about Will Howard. A lot of people believe that he could be the next Big Ben. That's what they've all been saying. Not that he's going to have the career of Big Ben, but the traits remind them of Big Ben. I don't see that necessarily. I think he'll be an excellent player in the right system. And if you can kind of teach him and, get him more mobile outside of the pocket, then you could absolutely have a great career. But right now, he's a little too statuey for me. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Thank you so much for sticking around. Remember to like the video, subscribe when you can, and share this with a friend. Until next time, my name is Moose. Be cool.